This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you guys for coming tonight. I'm calling the meeting to order for February 24th, 2022. With the passing of Jim Tubbs, we're going to have to nominate a new chairperson. And with that, then I would take any nominees at that time. And also I want to mention, I'm sorry that Jim Famry is excused tonight.
Jim was president for a long time.
Yeah.
Jim Tubbs.
We would consider.
As long as he's not here, we maybe.
Railroad, but he did a good job. He seemed to enjoy it.
I would agree, Tom.
Yeah.
But what? Can't do that?
Not unless he accepts the nomination.
Oh, yeah, we can't vote on it tonight.
Does it have to be voted on tonight?
Well, you should ask Mary, but she's gone. That I'm uncertain of. We can table it, I'm sure, but whatever
You
you.
know, Jim, I take it, he's familiar with it and,
I know he,
Well, I'll take the bull by the horns and nominate Jim.
check and see.
yeah, but he would have to accept the nomination.
Yeah.
I know he did it for a long time and he was, looking to stay on the board and not continue as the chair.
I'm going to ask for a motion to table this until we can learn if Jim Famry will entertain and accept the nomination. So the motion maybe to table this until the, when's our next meeting, Tim? May?
Mhm.
Okay, to the May meeting. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Tom. Okay. First, a motion by Tom and seconded by Ralph.
Aye.
Yes, thank you for the vote. All agree?
Mhm.
Carrie, okay. Third, I'm sorry, I will take a roll call. Andy Kurowski is excused, Jim Famry is excused, Tom Anderson,
Here.
Ralph Clipstein,
Here.
Doug Santee,
Here.
and Mary Limmer.
I'm here.
Will we please stand and Fred make the pledge of allegiance? The pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, number 5, I'll take a motion for the agenda, action on the agenda.
I'll make the motion, we accept it.
Second? Mary, sure.
Bylaw speak.
You sure?
Oh, yeah, jump in there. Just jump right in.
Mhm. Motion carried then for accepting the agenda. Number 6, a motion for accepting the free board minutes of May 27th.
So,
I'm
I'll
sorry, was
second
that
it.
Ralph?
What's that?
What took-
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, motion carried. And number 7, action items. Number 7A, update on the free board ash tree removal, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna ask a question of you right away, Jim.
Sure.
What district is it that I'm in?
I think you're in 12.
In what?
12.
Is that being done this year then, or?
So that'll be 2023.
Okay.
So I wanted to provide an update for the committee about the progress on the Emerald Ash Borer project. If you remember, this was going to be about a 5-year project to get through the entire village. In 2021 was the first of that 5 years. Initially, we're going to focus in on street and park trees, and then finishing up with natural areas and conservancy areas towards years 4 and 5. In 2021, the focus was roughly the east side of US 41. And on the map that I provided, you can see that area is highlighted in green. So that would include management areas 1 through 5, as well as a number of parks that are within that area. Ashwaubenon, Canterbury, Fort Howard, and Smith Park, which technically is just outside of that green area. The project was, it went well. It was, the contractor did a good job. We did end up offering an extension on the tail end of the project so they could get some of the park work done. The ground just didn't freeze up and firm up this fall like we had hoped it would. So given those circumstances, we did have an extension for them to complete the project. All the trees are removed in all those parks, as well as street trees. There's a little bit of, all the park stumps have to be ground out yet. And then there's just a little bit of punch list items on the street trees that they need to go back and finish up as far as stumping and restoration.
I took a ride through Ashwaubenon Park. Still low bare.
Yeah, it does. We removed a fair amount of trees out of there.
Yeah, you can see all the stumps.
Yep. Looking forward to 2022, we'll have the conversation with the contractor to see if they're interested in continuing that initial contract. There's verbiage in there to extend it upon mutual agreement of both parties. And depending on what that conversation says, then we will either continue the project into 2022 in management areas 6 through 11. Otherwise, we'll need to rebid that out and get new prices from contractors.
What were the 2 contractors involved?
Yes, and then there was a separate contract that was low bid for the Argonne Park job.
Well, that was the separate.
Well, there was, if you'll remember, there were 4 separate projects that they could bid on.
Okay.
3 of them went to one contractor, and then the 4th project, which was Argonne, went to a separate
Okay, that's the one that was separate.
Yep.
I thought it was 2.
And that meant them going into the natural area there too.
So they removed the inventory park trees in the manicured part of the park, and then we did the fringe area along the edge of the park, kind of by the soccer fields. And then the stumping is all done in there, and the restoration. They do need to return back in spring to do a little bit of raking and then final grading and seeding of those areas. So we held back a little bit of money to ensure that that gets done in spring. But overall, the projects went really well, given the amount of work that was out there. We had a few minor issues throughout the project that were resolved quickly by the contractor without much concern on the village's part. In 2022, we'll be removing street trees in management areas 6 through, I believe it's 11. So we've got a number of different management areas that we will be removing trees in. About 268 of them in total. The question that I've got from a fair number of residents as well as our staff is, what do the blue dots mean on the trees? Last year, the work that the village crews do, I used orange, and then the EAB trees, the Emerald Ash Borer project trees, I marked with pink. And apparently for some people, those colors are hard to differentiate between the two. And so I went in a totally different direction, and we used blue for the Emerald Ash Borer project, and then orange will be the village, internal projects with Parks and Recreation and Public Works crews. So just a way to make it easier for people to understand what's going on.
I saw some of them with your blue marks on Orchid, I think it was. Boy, those are some big street trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good observation. The overall size of the trees for 2022 is going to be bigger than what we were working with this year in 2021 or last year.
They're probably gonna have like lift trucks and that to take some of those street trees down, right? Or
Yeah.
and block the street right off almost, because I know that one, there's a couple of them that just follow ash trees, but they got some good sized trees on them.
Orchid and Avondale are two blocks that have
Yeah, those are.
some pretty big ones. a section of Finch Lane too. Yeah. So that's what we've got looking forward to in 2022. And then there'll be, a few other smaller projects that I'm kind of fitting in, that Dutchman's Creek Conservancy between Glen Road and Buffalo, to the north and the south, and then Kimberly and Shady Lane, to the east and the west. We've got a conservancy with ash trees planted in there. I think there's about 20 of them. That's going to be a little trickier just because of limited access for equipment. So I'll bid that out separate and allow companies to take a look at that and see what they can do, as far as creative ways to get that work done. I've got a small project up in Sherwood Forest that I'll include also. Near Mesa and Tristino, there's a section of trail that's got a large number of ash close to it, so we'll be looking to get that kind of cleaned out as well. Some of those trees are quite close to a resident's house, so I've been in communication with her over the last couple months to get that project in the pipeline as well. Overall, though, the project went quite well. For really not having done large scale removal of trees, within the community, I think it was well received. There's always some questions and concerns that come up, but I think overall people had a pretty good idea of what were going on with the information we provided.
And these contractors ever involved with that or like a project like that before, or that was new to them too?
No, they've done other
They've done other
projects.
projects,
Yeah. The main contractor, Trios, they've been doing this work with the city of Fond du Lac
Well, yeah,
for a number of years. They did a contract with Alloway
what do they do?
this summer as well. So yeah, they're no stranger to these kinds of projects.
These pests started out on the East Coast years ago, and they kind of worked their way.
Actually, Detroit,
Yeah, they
Detroit,
started,
that's where it started.
yeah, they think it came in like around 2000, like on packaging or crating material from China, which is
Of course.
where emerald ash borer is native, and it doesn't create problems there because it's in its native habitat, but you take it out of that native habitat and the pests and that keep it in check aren't in place here, and then it kind of runs wild. So yeah, the epicenter is right around the Detroit airport, and it just kind of keeps spreading from there. But I would say Brown County is generally infested from one edge of the county to the other. There might be pockets that don't have it yet, but it's just a matter of time, unfortunately.
They were in Alloway about 10 years ago,
Yeah, we found it
all over.
in Ashwaubenon in I think January of 2017 or 2018. I think it was 2017, just a block away from here. Yeah. So with all the doom and gloom of tree removal, there's a number of planting projects that we've got going this year. We'll be finishing out a grant that we got from Newater to plant trees in areas that are impacted by emerald ash borer. The 3 park sites are Smith Park, Argonne Park, and then Ashwaubenon. So Smith, we've got 20 trees scheduled for planting there. Argonne, we've got 30, and then Ashwaubenon, we got 40. So this is kind of the silver lining part of it where, yes, we've removed a lot of trees, but we're also been planting quite a few.
Talking about parks, excuse me, my hoarseness, I'm sorry. But Waterford Park, in that nature area there, you've taken a lot of trees out of there in the last 10 years. And I would wish you put some nice ones in there now.
At Waterford?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and we will follow up after the removals with additional.
Well, you've taken evergreens out of there, other ones too, in that nature area there. You know what I'm referring to. And I would like to see some trees planted in there this year.
I'd like to get the ash removed first because it makes it a lot easier
Yeah,
to get the removals done.
okay, I can see on that.
How many trees did we get last year, like for that touchstone from Packers or something like that, the trees for the Packers?
I think we had about 30.
About 30 of those trees. Was that, now that was for like the year before, right? Now that they have that again for this summer coming up?
Yep.
They will.
That we just got the order forms out to the communities for the first down for trees.
Okay.
And yeah, I think we've got about 25 of them coming.
This year?
Yeah, for that program.
Do they pretty much cover the whole county or?
Yeah. Yeah, any Brown County municipality, the Oneida, Brown County, yeah, any community that wants to participate. Yep. Yeah, that'll be going again this year.
Yeah, I don't think if they were gonna have that this year, but I didn't really heard, but.
Yeah. So we got a lot of tree planting projects on tap for this coming year, which is good.
Do the Packers pick out the kind of trees, or does each community else, like, try to pick out the trees what the brand, what they want to plant?
Yeah.
Alloway does the same thing?
Yeah, each community can pick out, based upon availability of trees that they would like to plant.
What's your favorite tree? To plant?
All
Have been planting any homes?
Yeah.
Have they been doing pretty good this time?
Yeah, a lot of hybrid elms.
Yeah.
They do well, they transplant readily.
When they get mature, do they eat?
Some of them, yeah, there's probably about 10 or 15 pretty common varieties that are used in the area.
Okay.
Yeah, some of them do. I've kind of been dabbling in a few of those other varieties just to see how they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the elms have done really well for us. But the key is diversity,
The only bad thing with those, I've got elms, I've got 3 of them in the front yard there now that are like this. And every time the wind comes up, you gotta go out there and pick up a whole barrel of sticks.
tiny sticks. Yeah. But we're really promoting the diversity. We kind of keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. Dutch elm disease was a great tree, so we planted
Lots of
them, and then lo and behold, Dutch elm disease kind of did its thing, and well, what are we gonna plant? Let's plant ash and Norway maples. And the Norway maples are still kind of hanging on, but the ash aren't faring so well. And so the variety is kind of the key to minimizing the impact of future pests that we don't know about right now. Because there will be another one. I guess we can, maybe not in my time or your time, but there will be another pest that's going that'll come in and affect these trees.
Hopefully there's nothing to taste the maples for a while.
Yeah, especially Norway maples. We got a lot of them.
Even the red maple, there's a lot of those around.
Yep.
A lot of those.
And we probably haven't planted one in 10 years.
Oh, yeah, is that right?
You still selling the logs to, so many paper?
Yeah, and then we're also selling saw logs to, last year we sold some to Algoma Lumber.
Oh, okay.
I got prices from a couple different companies, and they came in with the best offer for us. So yeah, whatever we can, we will. Any other thoughts, comments, suggestions on? It's been a challenging year, and I think this next year is going to be extremely challenging to get through the amount of trees that we've got out there. And then, you know, the key is to still do all the other normal things that we do throughout the year on top of a project of this
Excuse me.
of this size. But I'm up for the challenge. I like it, and
Is there ever a possibility of using high school kids and different groups at the high school to plant trees? You know, they have some ownership in the village.
yeah, we have. Like through Arbor Day programs,
Okay.
we've done a lot of them with the high school over the years.
Okay,
And if, you know, the high school or the middle school gets impacted by emerald ash borer, which they will, you know, there's probably gonna be some great opportunities
Sure.
there to plant trees. Yeah. I don't know about the chainsaws, though.
yeah. If they plant, they don't do it.
Right, yes.
I took a ride past a couple's place next to Albridge Park. See the trees are still standing there.
Yep.
Those are all gonna have to come out piece by piece, so.
Yeah. We'll get in there probably in the next month. Get that taken care of.
You need the boom truck for
Yeah.
them. To take them down, branch them out.
Couple vehicles.
What is there, half a dozen in there?
No, there's two.
There's two up by their driveway, and then there's some more back.
Yeah, the other ones, we're not gonna remove the other
Oh,
ones. We're
okay.
just gonna, I just need to prune them a little bit, get the dead branches out of them.
Okay.
Okay. Any other thoughts, ideas? Direction? And then the purple area, which is on the map, which is I've scheduled for 2023. That'll be management areas 12, 13, and then the last three remaining park sites that we have. The park sites have been holding out good for us because most of those, a good percentage of those trees were treated in 2015 with insecticide, and they are not showing as much signs of emerald ash borer as some of the street trees. So I'm going to focus on the trees that are in poorer condition and further advanced. And then, so kind of the silver lining is that treatment is buying us some time to spread out our project a little bit. And then Gillis and Waterford and Pioneer will be the three parks that we'll finish up with 2023.
Okay, all right, so 7B essentially is just informational only for your review. And then number 8, staff comments, I think maybe you've already covered that, Tim, or you have more to add?
No, I just wanted to publicly thank Jim Tubbs for his service on the tree for all these years. He was a good friend and a good advocate for the urban forest in Ashwaubenon. We had the pleasure of working with him for many years on the invasive species removal out at Ashwaubenon Park. And he and his sidekick both have passed away this year. And it's going to be hard to be out there this year without those guys there, and just kind of the enthusiasm and the leadership that they brought to that project. So it's just I just appreciate everything that he did for us.
So we
So
put a lot of hours in at the garden out there.
The botanical garden, yeah.
Garden, West Surprise, how many thousands of hours he had worked in.
yeah,
Master gardener, I didn't realize that.
then so as far as staff comments, that's all I.
Thank you. Do you have any specific items for the next agenda that anybody wants to see? Again, we'll do the nomination and hopefully acceptance with Jim.
That is the same night as our staff training.
Do you want to look into changing it or you want to do?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Okay. It's Thursday, May 26th. Yeah. Okay. Well, if something comes up, please contact me or Jim. And at this point, if there's nothing further, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Also move adjourned.
Thank you, Ralph.
Second,
Okay, we're hereby adjourned.
May 27th, next one.
6.